Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I am your girl, Candy Washington, and we are going to have a fun kiki about the latest reunion of the Real Housewives of Dubai Part 1. Yes, yes, yes. But before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community, and you can show support through super thanks and everything else that is linked below. So with that, let's dive in. Hello, Candy Cane. Sharon Redmond says, hello, Candy, my love. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Powerful Being says, yes, I cannot wait to pop in for a bit before my meeting. Yay, pop on in. Hey, Adam. Adam says, hey, hello. Darren Hood says, hi, with a candy cane. That's right. What's up? What's up? Okay, you guys, so let's dive in. Real Housewives of Dubai Reunion Part 1. I thought it was a little flat. It was a little boring, but I think it was a good setup for Part 2. I feel like it's going to be a situation where they could have just had one part, which would have been Part 2, but they wanted to milk it, so they stretched it into 2 parts. So we have a Part 1 and a Part 2. But I feel like Part 1 probably could have been 5 minutes, and then the rest of it could have been a Part 2 and just had one reunion, but we're doing what we gotta do. Rock with me on this. I think the true MVP of the reunion was Naomi Campbell. Like, Naomi Campbell calling Andy at the top of the show to plug her own event was everything. Because she's like, are you going to be in Qatar on October 25th? I have an event. I want you to come walk. That was like free publicity. So MVP was truly Naomi Campbell. Shout out to Naomi Campbell. But let's get into it. The hypocrisy and the lies, the hypocrisy and the lies, the hypocrisy and the lies, the hypocrisy and the lies. It's the hypocrisy and lies for me. Let's start with Chanel versus Brooks. Chanel, we're going to need you to calm down. We're going to need you to grow up. We're going to need you to stop windmilling for Lisa like it's literally your job. Like, enough. Enough is enough. I'm actually really on Team Brooks with this one. I do think that Chanel is just really immature, really just all up Lisa's butt. She was attacking Stanberry and Sergio like out the gate. It was like, can you calm down and take a breath? She was attacking Brooks out the gate, and it was too ferocious and too much for no reason. She was already on the verge of tears. She was already not listening. She was already in reaction mode. It was just too much. Even Andy was just like, maybe you're just being defensive. She was hella defensive. Hey, Darren. Darren says, I love that Yan, but she's beginning to bug me a bit. Right? I'm telling you guys, I always said that. Like, I was always confused on how Yan was such a fan favorite. Like, I get it, but like, I didn't really get it because I just always found her very annoying and very contrived. And don't forget, all of the rumors that were out saying how Chanel and Lisa had gotten together and they told the other girls, hey, go light on us in the confessionals and we'll go light on you. Let's have this pact. But then behind the scenes, they were really going in on the other girls. And by the other girls, I mean like Nina and Sarah and Brooks. And then allegedly, Chanel was leaking misinformation about Sarah to the bloggers, to the press, and Sarah was threatening to sue her. And we saw that come out on the reunion. You know how Chanel was like, oh, well, you were saying that you're going to get your lawyer involved if I don't like take stuff back and I don't stop telling people. And Andy was just like, we solved it, like shush, like basically like shushing them. So to me, that kind of gave credibility to the rumors that we had been hearing about Chanel going out there and spreading fake news and spreading lies and spreading misinformation about the other castmates and how she was begging them not to sue her. Because we talked about that on another video, and that kind of came out during the reunion. I also think it's going to be really interesting to see Lisa versus Caroline Stanberry. I want to see what is in this book of lies when it comes to Lisa, like what is in there. So Stanberry, as we've seen, has accused her of being an escort. She accused her of stealing designs and all of these things. I have seen on the blogs people saying that Lisa Milan's old college roommate has come out now trying to expose Lisa, being like, that's not her name. Her real name is Lisa, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want to dox anybody. If somebody has changed their name or if somebody's using a different name, that is their legal right. So I'm personally not going to say what this person said that her legal name was because respect, you know what I mean? But they're out here saying that's not her real name. They're out here saying that she was, out in Miami and she was sort of, selling her body for money and she was a gold digger and she was hitting up all these rich men and that she flunked out of college and she, couldn't pass her classes and she got kicked out, blah, 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 blah. Listen, when it comes to all of these so-called rumors about Lisa Milan, none of them to me actually really matter that much. Like, I'm not saying that I believe that she was out here, selling her body for money and doing this, that, and the third. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm never going to shame someone. I'm never going to put someone down. I'm never going to judge someone. Like, I don't think that's like explosive news. And I'm not saying it's true. These are what the rumors are saying, these are the allegations out there. To me, that's kind of dumb. It's like, and what? She was young. She was doing her thing. She was hanging out with people. She was living her life. She was dipping it and doing it. Let her dip it, let her dip it, and let her do it. Like, to me, that's a dumb accusation. Who cares? The whole name change to me is stupid and dumb. People change their last names in their names every single day. People have aliases. People have stage names every single day. That's a really stupid rumor to me, too. Flunking out of college, who cares? It's 2022. A lot of people aren't even going to college. There are people who are younger than me making millions of dollars on YouTube. Okay, so it's not on TikTok. So it's not even that deep. Like, to me, the smear campaign against Lisa Milan seems very like obvious that they're trying to go after her with these things and trying to like smear her name. And with those particular rumors, I'm like, miss me with that. Like, who cares? Like, oh, a young hot girl, hooking up with rich men. That's a story as old as time. You see what I'm saying? So for me, the only rumors that I actually care about and that I think have more credence is, does she allegedly steal designs for her company? Like, to me, that's a juicier rumor, Does she find, because apparently someone has come out and they've had like screenshots of like Lisa Milan's, I forgot the name of her company, but these are her designs. Oh, but by the way, it was actually on ASOS before, or by the way, it was on this person's design before. Oh, by the way, she's been stealing designs and passing them off as her own. And allegedly she's been lying about how successful her company is. That to me is the only juicy rumor that's going around. I don't care about your name change. I don't care about anybody she's been with. I don't care about, flunking out of college. And again, all of these are alleged. I'm not even saying that these are true. I don't care about that. Miss me with that. Let's talk about the stealing design situation. Quiet as it's kept. Hey, what's up? Hey, Sunny. Sunny says, hey, Candy in chat. Yay, love catching live on a lunch break. Thank you for joining us. Hey, KG Smith. Hi, it's my first time watching you. I just watched Real House of Beverly Hills, and now I just caught you live. Oh, well, welcome to the candy shop. Thank you, Candy Cane. Hey, Darren Hood. I love Ayan, but Lisa is a grown woman who can defend herself. Take it down a notch, Ayan. Exactly. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. But let's get back to the Lisa rumors and everything. Quiet as it's kept, and it's not even kept quiet. Unfortunately, a lot of designers will steal designs from other people. It's not right. You have the big fashion houses. They will steal designs from smaller houses. There is the trickle effect of, runway look versus, the Target look. And they look very, very similar, but one's like millions of dollars and one is like $50 at Target, right? So within the fashion community, unfortunately, in a lot of communities, even like here in Hollywood, writers all the time are like, that network stole my idea, that production company stole my idea. And unfortunately, a lot of the time it's true. You see these movies, you see these TV shows, and you see the same people over and over again taking credit for it, when the truth is they're stealing ideas. So that does happen. So do I believe Lisa This company could have been stealing designs. Yeah. I mean, when I saw the screenshots and I saw what she was wearing, versus what was posted on ASOS, it was the same dress. It was the same stuff. But it happens all the time, and that's not to excuse her, and that's not to condone the behavior. But I think I need more information. Like, if Lisa is going around saying, I sat down and I drew this design and this is my design, and it's really the truth that she stole it, that is a huge problem. That is a huge problem. But what she said on the reunion was she has a team of designers in-house. And then she also, I think she says, outsources this to freelancers, which is also the case. You know, you go into J. Crew, you go into Target, you go into wherever. They have, you know, in-house designers. Like, one person isn't designing everything in Ralph Lauren. You know, there's a team of designers who design all the clothes. And under the contract, they're essentially, you know, either freelancers or they're employees. And unfortunately, their intellectual property, if they're making designs for this fashion house, whatever they create is the property of that fashion house, you know? So there are different things when it comes to that. So I need more information. I need to know what exactly is in this book of lies when it comes to Lisa Milan. Now, having said all that, I will say this. I used to really like Lisa. But over the course of the season, I started to like her less and less. And I started to really see more of the negative energy, the negative vibes, the sort of superiority complex. And I'm going to tell you this. We've all seen Chanel all season, all during the press, all during everything, right? Go so hard for Lisa. Go so hard for her. Even when she was doing press and they're like, oh, you're the fan favorite. She was like, no, it's me, Lisa. And the only women who are better than me are, or who could ever top me is Lisa, Rihanna, and Beyonce. Like, so up Lisa's butt. It's not even funny. Let's also not forget how Chanel literally had a mental breakdown at the table when Caroline was simply talking to Brooks about having people and her ex-husband invest in her and stuff. And Sarah simply was just like, well, you know, you don't need to depend on a man. You can do it yourself. Chanel lost her mind and had a full-on mental breakdown, panic attack situation. And we all were like, where did that come from? And she was all like, oh, I have businesses. I'm more successful than everyone. I'm more successful than you, Caroline. Remember she went on the deep end with all that? Okay. I say all that to say this. Did you catch when Lisa said on that stage, when Caroline was coming for her business, she said it with a straight face and she meant it. And this showed us exactly who Lisa was. She goes, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, I am the only woman on this stage with a viable business. I am the only one. When she said that, she really showed her true self. And then the other women were like, wow, we don't have businesses. And then Nina was talking about fruitcakes or something like that. She didn't say, I have a viable business. My business is viable. She didn't say, me and Chanel are boss babes. Me and Chanel have amazing businesses. How dare you come for us? She sat there and she said, I am the only woman on this stage with a viable business. Did Chanel lose her mind? Did Chanel have a nervous breakdown? Did Chanel tell Lisa, I'm just as successful as you. I have all of these businesses. No, she sat there and she took it. She sat there and she took it. And the reason why it was such a revealing moment is because, as we've seen, Chanel, no matter what, bigs up Lisa. Always includes Lisa. Always is like, me and Lisa, me and Lisa, me and Lisa. Da, 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 da. And right there, it shows you that Lisa does not respect Chanel. Lisa sees Chanel as a pawn that she can easily use the way we all see it. The way we all see it. It's also going to come out, and they've been, foreshadowing this about how there was a pact for all of the girls to get together and go against Caroline Stanberry, which I believe that happened. And did you see Brooke's face when Chanel goes, no, I swear on my son's life? And she goes, oh, wow. Because I think the next thing Brooke says is, I was actually a part of the pact. So she knows Chanel is lying. This is what I think. This is my conspiracy theory. I think Lisa wanted to be HBIC. I think that Lisa does not respect Chanel. She knows that Chanel is her lapdog and will just root for her no matter what. That's her beta, right? Then I think that she didn't see Sarah or Nina or Brooks as a threat to her being the HBIC. I think she thought Nina and Sarah were boring. I think she thought Brooks was crazy and beneath her. And I think she saw the only threat to her being the HBIC was Caroline. So I think she really wanted to get this pact going to dethrone Caroline so that she would then become the HBIC of the show. But then when they started filming and everyone started going back on that pact, I think that was the core reason why Lisa had such an issue with Nina. She was like, oh, I thought, basically being like, chick, I thought you were in on the pact. We were talking so much crap about Caroline Stanbury, but now all of a sudden, now that we're filming, now you want to be BFFs with Caroline Stanbury and have an allegiance with her. That's what I think the true issue is between Lisa and Nina. I don't think Nina cares that Lisa and Chanel are close. I don't think it's a jealousy or friendship issue. I don't even think Lisa cares if Caroline and Nina are friends. I don't think it's the friendship. I think it's the alliance that Lisa has an issue with. I think Lisa wanted to come on the show and be the HBIC, and Caroline was in her mind perceived to be the only threat to that. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's really been the issue. I also think Lisa really has never let go of the fact that Caroline did not go to her fashion show. I think Lisa's a very confident person. I think she's very self-assured, but I think she has a personality that is very, very petty. So the fact that Caroline, sort of snubbed her fashion show, I don't think she ever got over that. And I think that's why they've been going so hard. And to be fair, they were clowning Caroline. They called her a 50-year-old influencer. They were clowning that she didn't have any businesses. They were clowning that she went bankrupt. They were clowning Caroline a lot. And I'm not defending Caroline. I only say this because it's the hypocrisy. Like, you can't be mad at Caroline for trying to expose your business when all season you were discrediting her business. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the hypocrisy for me. Do I think Caroline is perfect? Absolutely not. And I'm going to get into the whole Sergio racist tweet thing. And I'm going to see if you guys caught what I caught. So it's all of that. And to me, I think the pact sort of blew up in Lisa's face, because now it's even more going against Lisa and Chanel. They're kind of the two outcasts than the other people are. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Hey, Barbara. She goes, hi, everyone. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Lynn, new subscriber. Love the reviews. Aw, thank you. Hey, Sunny. Yes, I caught that shade, right? And this is the thing. She said it so seriously. That's what she's always been thinking. She has always been thinking, I am above all of these chicks, Chanel included. I'm above all of them. I'm in a different category. I've never had any investors. You're right, you haven't had any investors, because as we saw on the show, your husband was the investor. And do I believe the stats? No, I don't. Again, alleged, you know what I'm saying? She said on the show that she had 8 figures, but then she backpedaled and said, oh, that's 8 figures in whatever the Dubai currency is. I don't know what it is. Oh, but it's 7 figures in US currency. I'm calling BS on that, baby girl. I'm calling BS on that. Again, this is my opinion. I do not think her maternity clothing line makes millions of dollars a year. I just don't think so. I don't think that for a couple of reasons. One, I think if your maternity line was making 7 figures in US dollars, 8 figures in Dubai dollars, then what was that whole scene with your husband being shaky about ordering more designs or ordering more whatever. What was that whole scene about? I'm pretty sure any businessman whose wife is making 7 figures a year, 7 to 8 figures, whatever currency you want to use a year, either that scene was scripted or your business isn't making that much money where he has to micromanage it at that level. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not adding up. Like, you have an 8-figure, 7-figure business, but then your husband is acting like, wait, I'm too busy. I have all these other clients. Wait, something isn't adding up. And like, she's like, oh, we've never had any investors. Well, your husband is an investor and it's your business, if that makes sense. And I get that. Like, trust me, I think your partner should invest in you. If your partner is able to, I'm not saying like go out and do a Girardi type of situation. I'm talking about if your partner is able to legitimately invest in your business, I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. That's no tea, no shade. I'm not taking away from her success. I'm just saying, let's call a thing a thing. Don't act like you went out there and hustled to get your business to where it is. You said, baby, cut a check. I mean, we saw it on the screen. Unless that's all lies, unless all of that is a lie, yeah, you don't have investors because your husband is cutting you a check. So let's call a thing a thing. And the only reason why I say that is because I hate it when other women try to discredit another woman, particularly if she's an entrepreneur or she's doing her thing. They were clowning on Nina, they were clowning on Sarah, they were clowning on Sansbury, they were clowning on Brooks. All about that stuff. I'm the only person here with a viable business. You're clowning on all of these women, but yet your viable business is only viable because your husband cuts you a check. Do you see what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that, but don't try and clown other women who are out there doing what they have to do. You see what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So Lisa, miss me with all that stuff. Let's see what else happens. See what you guys are saying in the chat box. Hey, Barbara says, I was surprised that the reading was so good. I think part 2 is going to be even better. I think part 1 was a good layup stitch, and I think part 2 is going to be even better. Hey, Lynn, all the ladies add value to the show, even the ones that I don't really care for. I agree. I like the dynamic. I like the ladies. I really do. And I think season 2 is going to be even better because I think the gloves are going to be coming off in season 2. I think some of them played very small, where I think season 2 they're going to play very big. But let's get into Brooks's lies in a second. Hey, Lynn, Caroline Stanbury annoys me, but I hope she stays around because I want to see her property development. Me too. I hope she stays around too. I want to see the property too. Hey, Darren, exactly, 100%. I don't really like Lisa as much either. Yeah, and it stinks because I really liked Lisa in the beginning. I really liked her. But after everything and all of this stuff, I'm kind of squinting at you, girl. I'm kind of squinting. And Brooks, we all know the Brooks math doesn't math. And honestly, everything she said at the reunion kind of just confirmed that she's lying about some stuff. Let's get into it. We all know that I don't believe Brooks's timeline and 100% recollection of what happened with her and her ex-husband and her child and her ex-boyfriend. Cliff notes. Brooks is out here claiming that she was in this abusive marriage. She got really scared. She left with the clothes on her back and a baby on the hip, and she fled. And then she picked herself up from the bootstraps, was basically homeless, and built this real estate empire, multi-million-dollar real estate empire now that she has in Dubai as a single mom. And now all of a sudden she wants to do, bliss bar or beauty bliss or something like that. She wants to do these spas in Dubai, and she's getting her ex-husband to be either like a contractor or developer or something like that. And she was saying that her ex-boyfriend, who allegedly cheated on her and gave her millions of dollars as a cheating departure gift or something like that, and he was going to come in and be an investor. She later then said, oh no, the ex-boyfriend is no longer an investor at this point. The lies, Brooks, the lies. None of that made any sense to me. None of it made sense. on any type of level. First off, if you leave me and my child homeless with no money, nowhere to go, no food, homeless, and this is what she said. This is what Brooke said. This isn't me conjecturing. This Brooke said he left her homeless. That's what she said. There is no way on God's green earth am I ever going to go into business with you. And her whole thing is, I'm paying him. I'm the client. I'm paying him. He's developing my stuff. Well, then that's even dumber and stupider than if he was paying you. I could see if he was paying you, but you're gonna sit here and act like it's a point of pride that you are paying a man who allegedly left you and your child homeless. On what planet does that make any type of sense? How crazy would I have to be if I sat up here and I was like, you guys, I was in a really abusive relationship. I was scared for my life. And he left me and my child homeless. And now that I've made it, now that I have millions of dollars, I have decided to pay him. What planet does that make any type of sense? What planet? It doesn't make any sense. This is what I think happened. And then I'm also going to tell you again how Brooks told on herself. This is what I think happened. I think Brooks and her husband were in a very toxic, abusive, explosive, immature marriage. I think they both were probably fussing and fighting. I'm not taking away the trauma. I'm not taking away the part that he played. I'm not taking away any of that. But from what she has said, from what it seems like they both probably were in the house fussing and fighting. And I am by no means taking away the fact that a man should never put his hands on a woman. And she talks about the physical abuse she went through. Trust me, I am by no means taking away from that at all. But in some domestic violence situations, and it's not condoning anybody, it's not giving him a pass, it's not blaming her. I'm not blaming her. She's 100% a victim. But what it seems like is that they were fighting each other. It was very toxic. It got to a point where it had to end and be over, and she left. I do not think that he just cut her and the son off. What I think is that it got to a point, it got too volatile. She and this child left, and he was still giving her child support, and he was still in the child's life. I don't think that she was left homeless on the street. She said her mom came and got her or something like that, but that's a new revelation. In the reunion, she said her mom came and got her. On the show and on Twitter, she said she was left homeless. And then she was saying other stuff. So there's new details. There's new things coming out. Then she said she was couch surfing on her ex-best friend's couch or something like that. It's all changing. Their new details is changing, all of this stuff. I think their relationship got so volatile and so dysfunctional. They decided to leave, but I do not think she was left destitute. I do not think she was left homeless. I think their relationship ended, and I think that he was still giving her money for the son, and I think that he was still in the son's life. I think they went from being a dysfunctional married couple to co-parenting. That's what I think happened. Maybe she had to leave the mansion. Maybe he wasn't giving her an allowance, but I do think that he was still taking care of his son. And I do think that they were still in each other's lives. Because she also told on herself in the reunion when she said, because again, follow me on this. This does not make any sense. You're talking out of the both sides of your heads, Brooke. Both sides of your head. And to me, you're caught in a bold-faced lie. Just logically thinking about this. Logically. Brooks said, oh, I got myself from the bootstraps. I built up this $1 million real estate company. My ex-husband is going to help me develop it or invest in it or whatever. He's going to be the client, right? All of this happened pre-filming. Because when we started filming, remember in the early episodes, she was already at the location. that was going to be under construction. She was already at the location. She already had the project underway. She was already building. She was already working on it. She already had the storyline that she was working with her ex-husband, right? This was happened all pre-filming. You had the whole project. Then you want to play in our face like we're stupid and dumb and act like the first time you sat down and had a conversation with your ex-husband was on camera when you guys grabbed coffee and tea. And this was the first time he allegedly apologized to you. This was the first time he allegedly took accountability. That's what she said on the show, and that's what she said at the reunion. Brooks, if the first time you had a conversation with your ex-husband was on the show, how did you go into business with him prior to the show filming? Because you said on the reunion, you and him couldn't even talk. You couldn't even be in the same room. You didn't even see each other. All you did was do handoff with the child at the gate. So you're already telling on yourself. Number one, you were on here lying and saying you were a single parent. This whole time you said you were a single parent. But then on the reunion, you let it slip that you were doing handoff with your ex-husband. Doing a handoff with a child means you're co-parenting. That's not being a single parent. There's a difference between a single parent and a co-parent. You talking about doing handoff, that's co-parenting, not single parenting. So you already caught yourself in that lie. Another one, you really think we're dumb enough to think that you were able to get contracts, you were able to get an agreement, you were able to go into business with this man without having a conversation with him? That means you were able to have a contract with this man, go into business with him without seeing him or having a conversation with him until you just so happened to have everything set up perfectly to film and have a scene with him. It doesn't make sense. The timeline doesn't make any sense. The math is not math. This is what I think happened. This is what I think logically happened. I think you and him were fussing and fighting. You're still a victim. I'm not taking that away. I'm not demeaning that. I'm not victim blaming or any of that. You were in a very bad situation. You and your son left that situation. I think that you then started co-parenting with him. Maybe it was difficult, but a lot of people, it's difficult in the beginning, you know? You're co-parenting him. He was still supporting his child. Obviously, your son was in private schools and all of this, that, and the third. You and him probably still mess with each other on and off. You and him at some point came to a kumbaya. You and him at some point were, and another reason why I know she's lying, because in the scene, she's talking about the PTA and all that stuff and how what's going on with her son at school and how they need to go and talk to the not PTA, but you know what I mean, whatever it is, like go to the teacher about the son being bullied and all of that stuff. So how are you having these conversations with him when you told us that was the first time you sat down with him? It's not making sense. I think that her and her ex-husband both probably matured, both probably came to an understanding. They both were co-parenting the son together, got into business together, and then they came up with this storyline for him to be on the show, for her to have whatever. But the thing is, Brooks, you could have just told the truth. You could have just been like, yeah, I was in a really abusive relationship. I got out of it. Now we're able to co-parent. We worked through our stuff, and now we're going in business together. But don't sit there and play in my face and say the first time he ever apologized to you, the first time you ever felt safe around him since the divorce was on the show. That just makes no sense. If you didn't feel safe, if he never apologized, if you never made amends, if you weren't co-parenting, why did you go into business with him? And how did you go into business with him prior to filming? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't logically make any sense. I think the simplest answer is the truth. The simplest answer is this. You got married to a man. It was a volatile marriage. You had a child. You got out. You two were able to heal, or whatever you want to call it. You were able to co-parent. You were able to get to a better place. You were able to work together. And now it is what it is. I don't know why you need the extra dramatics and the extra fluff and the extra, the first time I talked to him in a real way was on camera. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. If the first time you ever sat down and talked to him since leaving was on camera, how did you ask him to work with you on your business prior to filming? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Go see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Hey, Lynn. Brooks may have left with nothing, but her ex-husband sure as hell wouldn't let his child go with nothing. Exactly. She wouldn't even last a week in Dubai with no money. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like you may have left the situation, but given how we have seen that man with the son, and it's very evident, even with her, because she's slipped up herself, talking about doing hands off and all that stuff, and he needs to go and talk to the teachers and everything. It is very clear that they have been co-parenting. The marriage may have dissolved, but it's very clear that they've been co-parenting. It's very clear that that man and the son had a good relationship. They were playing on camera and laughing. You could tell they had a history together. They were very comfortable. You could tell that both parents have been in that child's life. Do you see what I'm saying? Hey, SW, but didn't he invest in the business? So is she paying with his money? That's another thing. First, she was saying that he was investing in it. Then it was, no, I'm paying him to help develop it or something. And even on the show, he's like, oh, you're paying me for this, you're paying for this. And she's like, yeah. But I think she was saying that her ex-boyfriend was the investor. Allegedly, the guy from Kenya who's married. I don't even have to say alleged because she said he was married. Remember, she was proud. She was very proud of the fact that she had been sleeping with a married man. She's very proud of it. She's like, oh, I was going to be the new, queen of Kenya or whatever of Kenya, but turns out he was already married. She was very proud of that she was sleeping with a married man. But then she went on to say that oh, that investor pulled out or something. Hey, SW, I think she means homeless, like she had no place of her own. Yeah, I get that, no place of her own, but the way she made it sound was like she was on the street. And she never said in the story before that her mom came and got her. It just the details just don't make any sense if that makes sense. But you're right. That is definitely an interpretation of homeless, just at her own spot. Hey, Isabel. She says, hi, Candy. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Nola. She's inconsistent and unpredictable all the way around. Yeah, she really is. And she slipped up. We were doing handoff at the gate. But I thought you said you'd been a single mom. The first time we ever had a conversation was on camera. But he's developing your business before you started shooting. It's not making sense. The math isn't that thing. Hey, SW, maybe it was the first time she actually believed what he was saying. That's not what she said, though. She said that was the first time they had a conversation. That's what she said. She said that was the first time. That's the thing. If she had said that would have made sense. If she would have been like, this is the first time I actually believe him. This is the first time it feels genuine. Then I'd be like, oh, okay. But to say this is the first time you sat across from him since everything went down, the years that it's went down, but yet he's an investor or a developer on in your company, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Hey, Ashley, totally enjoy your different approach to these reviews. Definitely subbing. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, you guys, you know how I do with my Candy Cane community. I always think about the high level stuff with the reviews. I'm not doing a scene by scene. I'm like, what did this mean? Why did they say it? Hey, Lean, Brooks is such a pick-me. Oh, she has so many different stories, and it changes from whoever is listening to her. That is true. And she's a flip-flopper. She will flip-flop all day long. Hey, Darren, Caroline Brooks is a hoot on Twitter Spaces. Yeah. Hey SW, yeah, I hear you. It's inconsistent in her story. Exactly, exactly. Like this is what I think for Brooks. Brooks, I'll wrap her up and then I'll get into the whole Sergio racist tweet situation. Okay. With Brooks, I think her story is very, unfortunately, in the world we live in, it's almost generic. And I think, like, young girl meets wealthy guy, gets married, it's crazy, it's abusive power struggle. They have a child, they break up, blah 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 blah. And I think she was adding all this extra junk just to be more, I don't know, dramatic. I don't know. It's weird. She's all over the place. The math doesn't math. To me, she's been caught in lies because it just doesn't make any sense. Sorry. Okay. Sergio racist tweet. Sergio and Caroline Stanberry. Let's talk about them. I stand by the fact that I think Sergio wants to be Caroline Stanberry. I don't really think it's romantic love. I think it's like a psyche thing. I think he's obsessed with her money, and her lifestyle. I think he wants to live the life of Caroline Stanberry, if that makes sense. Do I think she'll ever end up having kids? Probably not. I think right now she's 45, 46, and she was saying at least not for another 2 years or until the house is done. So that would be what, 47, 48? Carrying a baby. I mean, it happens. Dirty Diana was 47 and she just had a child like a year and a half ago with her baby. So it happens. It happens. It definitely happens. But I find Caroline and Sergio problematic on so many levels. Not the age. And the age thing is actually one thing that I don't really care about. What I care about is the narrative that she has to do something to her body. And she was lying through her teeth on the reunion when she was just like, oh, no, it's not a deal breaker now. No, it's something he wants, but it's okay. I want him to have it. You were lying through the teeth. You told the truth in your confessional. If you weren't going to have a baby, he was out. And he was adamant about it throughout the entire show. And guys can secure the bag too. This is a couple of things. One, I think Sergio wants a baby so bad because when he divorces her and he decides to live his truth in his life, he wants child support. Because let's call a thing a thing. Is anybody believing Sergio is a cryptocurrency trading genius multimillionaire? Is anybody believing that? Because this is the thing. This is another problematic thing. In my opinion, allegedly, I don't think Sergio has any money. I think Caroline has family money. I think Caroline has her social media money. I think Caroline has her divorce settlement money. So I think she's set. I think she has a good nest egg. She might not be as rich as we think, but I do think Caroline actually has money. I do. I think she has like legit money. I don't think Sergio does. And I'm going to tell you this whole cryptocurrency, he's trading all day long, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Maybe it's my own ignorance because I don't really believe cryptocurrency and NFTs. To me, I'm just like, what is this jargon, make-believe BS, like phantom stuff? I don't get it. So who knows? But I'm kind of like, if he is this cryptocurrency multimillionaire, why is he also your assistant? Because she's also talking out of both sides of her mouth. Because we're gonna be fair over here. We're gonna drag all the women down. In one breath, you're saying that Sergio is this cryptocurrency trader making all this money, giving you this fat money checks and all this stuff. But on the other hand, you're saying that he basically is your production assistant when you're doing Instagram reels and photos and campaigns. If you're balling like that, why don't you actually just have a social media assistant? Why is he your social media assistant? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that to me doesn't make sense. Have an assistant. You have a glam squad. Have an actual assistant. Why is he your assistant? Is it because of the codependency stuff where he can't where he needs control and he needs to be around you all the time and he has to always be with you and it's really psycho and he really wants to be you? So he's living vicariously through the campaigns. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just not making sense. And Sergio, to me, not to be mean, and maybe you don't really have to be that smart, but the things that he says and the things that he clearly does not know. I mean, maybe he's a savant when it comes to tech. I don't know. But the fact that he didn't know how babies were made, he didn't even know where babies came from. He didn't know a lot of stuff. It was just jarring. I'm like, you're a grown man and you don't know this stuff. It was really bizarre. But yet you're trading millions of dollars every morning. Like it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense. But again, you know what? The kids are doing it these days. The kids have the NFTs. They have the cryptocurrency. They have the metaverse Web3 crap. Maybe he is sitting around trading all of this stuff. Maybe he is. I mean, a lot of people trade stocks and they make money there. It's gambling. It's all gambling. But hey, people sometimes hit big when they gamble. I don't know. But I just squint with Sergio. He doesn't give financially independent vibes. Let's just put it that way. So I do think he wants the kid to secure a bag. I'm going to say this, and I want to be very respectful, because over here in the Can community, we are inclusive. We love everyone and everybody. So anytime we talk about identity or sexuality, it's never coming from a disrespectful place. It's coming from a place of, it's good to have conversations about it. It's good to open it up. It's good to remove the stigma. There is a part of me that believes that because Sergio comes from such a conservative family, that maybe he has pressure to present a certain way. Because even when they were talking about the children, did you notice that he said, my parents have to be grandparents? It was never really like he really wanted the kid. It was like, my parents have to be grandparents. It seems like he comes from a very more conservative background. I think he's Spanish, I want to say. So to me, there's almost like a lot of things going on with Sergio. It seems like he's obsessed with Caroline's money and her life, but it doesn't seem like it's real love. The whole baby thing, maybe it seems like he wants to present a certain way to his family with pressure from all of that to be a certain way. It's also a money grab. Maybe he's thinking about, 10 years from now, he wants to have child support, because men also are gold diggers. Men also want a contingency plan. Men also secure the bag. And I just don't think he gives, I am financially independent vibes. He gives, I am the production assistant vibes, right? Now, let's talk about the racist tweet. What the tweet said, it was like every N-word out here or something, or all the whatever out here something. The way that they said it was, oh, Sergio was promoting a club or who is promoting something, and whoever was doing the promotion, took over his account, and they were the one who tweeted it out, and it wasn't from him, and he doesn't even know what the N-word is, and we reprimanded him so much, and like this, that, and the third. We was all reprimanded and everything else in the world, right? And he was so apologetic. He had no idea what the word was. I'm calling bullshit on so many things right now. Number one, if Sergio really was out here doing club promotions, that right there goes to the fact he doesn't have any money. You're not out here promoting clubs on Twitter if you're actually making all this money in bank at either from football or from alleged cryptocurrency. You're not. You're not out here, trying to do 10 girls for $20. Here's a flyer. Here's a text message. Come to the show. We need 20 heads. You're not a club. You're not doing club promo when you're really balling in it. Let's be serious, right? The gag is to say that Sergio did not know what the N-word was. Brooks, I'm looking at you. Caroline Stayberry, I'm looking at you. Why are you playing in our faces like we're idiots? We're not dumb. I don't care who you are. If you are over the age of 5 in this country, you know what the N word is. Not even this country, the world. You know what the N word is. To sit there and play in our faces like Sergio, simple Sergio, he might be simple, but he's not stupid. You know what the N word is. Don't sit there and tell me you had to give a dissertation to Sergio about what the N word was. You're lying. You're covering. And Brooks, I'm pissed. Don't play like you're mad at him. Don't play like you reprimanded him and he was so apologetic and the N-word is offensive in anything. And then you want to sit up here and say that he didn't know what the N-word was. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Sergio knew exactly what the N-word was. Whether he was the one who tweeted it or not, he knew what the word was and he knew what the word meant. Point blank, period. He knew what it was and he knew what it meant. Did you also notice Caroline Stansberry's response? And this had me looking at Caroline all types of sideways. And to me, it was very telling. Her response was, I was so mad at him because if you know you're going to be on a show, if you know you're going to be on a platform, you have to scrub. You have to go back and check everything. But he didn't go that far back to scrub it. So your initial reaction was that you were mad and pissed because he got caught, not because he said it. That told me everything I needed to know. That told me right there, Brooks, you and Caroline got together and you knew that when that question was going to be asked, so Caroline wouldn't get attacked, she was going to use Brooks as the mouthpiece. Because if you notice, when Andy first brought it up and they were talking about it, Brooks spoke up and was like, oh, I talked to Sergio about it. We reprimanded him. He said he didn't know what it was. You know, it's never acceptable. All of these sort of like very PR clips, like just the right amount of being pissed off, just the right amount of telling him off. And coming from Brooks, it seems to give the story more credibility because Brooks is Black, rather than Caroline trying to defend him for saying the N-word, right? It gives it more credibility. They think it's going to make us forgive him quicker if Brooks is saying it because Brooks is Black. So you're not going to sit up here and tell me that Caroline and Brooks didn't get together and scheme what they were going to say in response to this coming out. And the fact that the first thing out of Caroline's mouth was, I was so mad at him because he should have scrubbed it better. Not, I was so disgusted and disappointed that my husband has ever said this word, has ever used this word, has ever offended people, has ever even given the glimpse of being racist. I feel so ashamed. I feel so saddened for anybody that I hurt. No, the first thing out of her mouth was, I was so mad at him because he didn't do a good enough job of scrubbing his accounts. That's what she said. And then after a while, she was like, Sergio is just like, he's like the least racist person. Yeah, everybody is always the least racist, the least homophobic, the least elitist, the least this, the least that, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's always the least, right? But the first thing out of your mouth was, I'm pissed because he didn't do a good enough job covering his tracks. That's what she said. And Brooks, miss me with any type of Black women solidarity. You lost your Black woman solidarity card. You lost it. Because you're not going to sit here and play in my face and act like you really thought Sergio didn't know what the N-word was. And you really thought that reprimanding him and educating him and he was so apologetic that just randomly happened. No, Caroline Stanbury called you for damage control because you're her Black friend. Let's just call a thing a thing. You're her Black friend, and she called you for damage control, and you said, I'm ready, let's ride. What are we going to say? And then, because you knew it was coming up on the reunion, and when it came up, Brooks did her job, and she sat up there, and tried to make it go away. It was just the right amount of, I can't believe he said it, and I was really mad, and blah, 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 and he didn't know what it was, but I had to like educate him, and he was really reprimanded by, he got really reprimanded by us. Essentially, you're trying to create the narrative that he was really ignorant, he was really apologetic, and he's already gotten reprimanded, aka Twitter world, audience, you don't need to cancel Sergio. You don't need to hold him accountable. We've already done it. We've already held him accountable enough. You don't need to cancel him for this. That's what the narrative they were trying to spin. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you always got to really listen to what they say and why they say it. That's why, Brooks, when you come up and you're talking about Black women have to be strong, the stereotype of strong Black women, and white women get to be fragile and vulnerable. Brooke, shut up. You sat up there and you completely invalidated your Black woman card. Plain in our face. Am I saying Sergio is a racist? No, I don't think he's a racist. Do I think he said the N-word? Yeah, I do. But this is the thing, racism is so insidious, it's so nuanced, it's so institutionalized, it's so normalized, there's levels to it. You know, it's not just, are you a racist, are you not a racist? Like, it's not checking a box. There's microaggressions, there's biases, there's stereotypes, there's colorism. Racism is so deep rooted, it is so nuanced, there's such a spectrum of it. It's not like you're a racist, you're not a racist. Like, come on, people. Like, it's not that simple. If it were that simple, we would have been able to eradicate it by now. But the reason why we haven't been able to eradicate racism is because it's so complex, and it's so deeply rooted, and it's so subconscious, and it's such a big thing. Do I think it was him saying it? 100%. I'm not buying this whole, we checked the IP and he was doing some promo and it was the person who did it. No. You did it. He said it. It's like the people who say the N-word when they're singing a song. It's that type of BS. Well, they said it in the song, I can say it. It's that type of ignorant mentality. It's that type of entitlement. It's that type of privilege. Because I actually think what he was saying in the tweet was, when he used the N-word, it was like, hey, how many of my homies do I have in the club? How many of my chicks do I have in the club? How many of my boys do I have in the club? How many of my N-words do I have in the club? That was the context of the tweet, right? He wasn't being like, this N-word, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't that. It was just like, you know, like if there's a song that's just like, oh, all my blah, blah, blahs, all my N-words, all my da, da, da. You know what I mean? That was the essence of the tweet. The problem was, he's not Black, and he should never have said the word to begin with, okay? That's why, do I think Sergio is this big, bad racist? No. Do I think he probably has institutionalized racism like the majority of the people in this world? Yes. Yes, I do. The same way homophobia, the same way sexism, the same way, you know, the patriarchy. We've all been on certain levels brainwashed and manipulated, and on certain levels we all have biases and phobias and isms, right? It's on the spectrum of how it comes out. If he had actually taken accountability and said, you know what, I did say that. It was ignorant of me. It was wrong of me. It was my privilege showing. It was all of this showing. And I said it and it was wrong. And I take full responsibility and I am so sorry. And to anybody who feels hurt or traumatized or offended when a non-Black person says that word, I am sorry. I would have respected that. But this whole bullshit about, I don't know what the N-word means, I was promoting a club, I didn't tweet it. Caroline Stanbury and Brooks reprimanded him enough. No need to cancel Sergio. That's when I was just like, Brooks, you lost all respect from me. All respect. Caroline Stanbury, I didn't expect anything other than that. We know who Caroline Stanbury is. We know who she is. Of course she was just like, I'm pissed because he didn't scrub it. I'm pissed because he got caught. That's what she said. She never even said she was pissed because he said it. The only thing she said was, I'm pissed that he got caught, and Sergio's not racist. That's what she said. And then Brooks was over here windmilling for them. I can't. The thing is, when they try to create these fake storylines and they try to cover for each other, that's when you lose the respect. That's when you lose the dog in the fight. Sergio just should have came out and said, you know what? I said something that was really, really stupid. I apologize to any person in any community that was offended. It was not my intention. The tweet really was basically just like, all my ends in the house, where you at? Or everywhere. It was one of those kind of things, right? I didn't take it as a racist tweet. I took it as a very distasteful, ignorant, entitled, privileged tweet, if that makes sense. He shouldn't have used the word, but he should have owned the fact that he did. Do you see what I'm saying? All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. And that's why I was like, Brooks, I don't believe a word that ever comes out of your mouth. Your black card's revoked, sweetheart. It's back. Okay. Let's see what you're saying. Yes. Ashley says, let's call a thing a thing. Brooks is a flip-flopper, gold digger. Bling, bling. Aeon also revealed she loves rich African men. Yup. Hey, Irish Sugar Mama. Yes. Hey, SW, she knows what's up, and that's why she gave that time frame so that they can get divorced after. Yep. With Brooks, right? Yep. Hey, Lynn. Sergio claiming he never heard the word before, but yet he could spell it perfectly. Caroline S. saying he's the least racist person she knows, and that shows the type of people she has around her. Exactly. That's another thing. Like, you've never heard the word before, but you tweeted it. Get out of here. Hey, SW, Nina's husband believed you, LOL. Well, this is the thing. We've seen these housewives who seemingly have husbands who seemingly have a lot of money, and then they turn out to be, and I'm not saying this is Nina's husband by any means. I'm just saying they're Girardis, they're Giudices, they're Shaws. You know what I'm saying? So if he's going along with the BS that Sergio is a cryptocurrency millionaire, then maybe there's some other stuff going on. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Hey, Steve C. She went from he's giving money to pay for the new house to, oh, he gave me money for furniture. Yes, Caroline Stanbury, you noticed that? She was like, oh, he gave me cash money for the new house. Oh, we're both paying for it. No, the check was for the furniture. Girl, bye. Hey, Steve C. He thought he could take an embryo out and put it in another woman if it wasn't taking. Simple, Sergio. Simple. Sergio may be simple, but he's not stupid. He knew what the N-word was. You see what I'm saying? Hey, Steve, it flew by so fast I couldn't even see it. Yeah, it said something like, every blank in here raise up or rise up or something like that. I'm paraphrasing it. But from what I saw, it seemed like the tweet was like everything in the house raise up, or where you at? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Hey, Darren Hood, I never use that word in public, but if the tables were turned, then it would have been a huge problem. Exactly. Hey, Lynn, just because Brooks accepts his apology doesn't mean other Black people of color or allies need to accept his apology. Exactly. And it was so obvious that they got together and were like, Brooks is my Black friend. Let her handle the racist tweet. Let her handle the N-word. We're going to say, this is what happened. He's been reprimanded. So that way, maybe they won't cancel him because a Black person co-signed. And that is racist. See, that's more racist than the tweet, to be perfectly honest. Given the context of the tweet, Sergio, Caroline, and Brooks, Black people cannot be racist, but they can definitely, I don't know what the word is. What's the word for when you placate to white people or you placate to another color than yourself? They can definitely do that. And it's more racist for Brooks, Caroline, and Sergio to get together and pull together this scheme, thinking that, oh, as long as a Black person co-signs Sergio, then the rest of the Black world is just going to automatically forgive him. That's like, oh, he's Black, so all Black people will vote for him. Oh, she's Black, all Black people will side with her. No, there's not one single Black mind. We're all individual people. We all think for ourselves. We have different wants. We have different objectives. We have different needs. We're intelligent. We have perspective. We have discernment. Just because somebody is Black doesn't mean we're automatically going to just agree and vote for and go with that person. It's like the way people try and discredit Barack Obama. Oh, well, he's Black, so he's going to get the Black vote. Not necessarily. We're intelligent people. You may be Black, but are you confident? Do you believe in what we believe in? Do you have the credentials? Just because you're Black doesn't mean that we're automatically going to vote for you. That's the race. That's the true racism right there. Hey, Steve C. Brooks almost just jumped out of her seat to defend him, which wasn't her place. Exactly, and that shows you they had a whole plan, because when Andy said it, Caroline Stanbury did not nudge. She didn't move because she knew she wasn't going to answer the question. She sat there and she looked at Brooks, and Brooks said what they all had pre-scripted her to say. Go back and rewatch. It is very clear that Brooks was the one who was going to handle the racism tweet situation. It was very clear. Hey, Mario. First of all, I'm so happy to catch you live. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. I can't believe they tried to let Sergio's BS slide like that. Yeah. They're like, we have Brooks. Brooks is a spokesperson for all Black people. Go. Hey, hi-ho, or hi-10. Hot 10. You know what I mean, sweetheart. Hey, sweetheart. Not knowing what the N-word is gives me Black content creator vibe. It's a barrier language. Exactly. It's like you knew what you said about Black content creator Diana and Sergio. You know what the N-word is. Like, stop playing in our face. Crazy how some people don't know English after they say racist stuff. Exactly. The same, like, not the same, but similar to Chanel Ayan. Oh, I don't speak the language. It's like you've been married to a white man from Iowa for 27 years, and you speak the language perfectly fine when you need to, but when you want to misinterpret something, all of a sudden it's a language issue. All of a sudden, Sergio doesn't know what the N-word is. All of a sudden, Diana doesn't know what the word Black means. Girl, bye. Hey, Steve C. Well, they'll say he doesn't even know where babies come from. So how can simple him know these things? All BS. Exactly. And if he doesn't know where babies come from, then what is him and Caroline Stanbury doing? Or is she only S-ing the D, as she made very clear with the whole Lisa thing? Maybe they don't have sex. Let me continue on that one. Hey, Kimmy Pie. I didn't believe that investigation mess that Sarah was talking about. Wait, what investigation mess? Investigation into Chanel Ayan leaking fake news stuff and how she was saying she was going to get a lawyer to go after Chanel? Hey, SW, Sarah acting like a detective, LOL. Just saying it was wrong. Just say it was wrong. Oh, the investigation, like, oh, we investigated into the IP address when Sarah said that of the tweet. That was some BS, girl. Girl, bye. Sarah, sit down. Brooks got it. Sarah, stop trying to get brownie points. Brooks got this one, okay? Hey, Mario. I lived in Spain for a time, and racism is built into the culture. Thank you. I wasn't going to say it, but since you said it, I was going to say it. I was like, I'm sorry. You're not living in Spain and acting like there's no racism doesn't exist there. Like, I'm sorry. So I'm happy you said it. But even then, the people know better than to say the N-word. Exactly. Especially when you're an internationally known soccer team. I don't buy it. Thank you. 100%. Steve says, oh, okay. Hey, Mario, I just know that they gave media training on that team, so there's no way he didn't know what it meant. 100%. He knew what it meant. There is no way he's acting like he doesn't know what the N-word meant. Absolutely none. Like, so stupid. Hey, Ashley, Sergio has an IQ of a 3-year-old. Ain't no way he's business savvy like that. Exactly. Hey, Kimmy Pie. Brooks was defending Sergio like that was her man. Well, this is the thing. Caroline Stanberry gave her her marching orders, and she marched up there, and she just did her, and she acted like the soldier she knew she had to be. And that's when I really was like, Brooks, yes, Brooks, you clearly lie and you flip flop. I'll say allegedly because I don't want any cease and desist because I want to be able to get up here and talk as I want. So allegedly, you flip flop, your stories don't make sense, your timelines overlap and they don't make sense. I can forgive you for all that. I actually think that you're very funny and you're very lovable. And there is a part of you that we can see still needs healing and you're still dealing with a lot of trauma, the alcohol issue. And that's not coming from me. That's what we've seen on the show and what they talked about. So don't come after me, Brooks. I'm just only reiterating what you put on national television. But when she got up there and was windmilling for Sergio regarding the racist tweet, that's when she lost me. That's when I was like, Brooks, I could have kikied with you about the bullshit, but not about this. And then especially when you're going to go and talk out of your face about the plight of Black women. So you want to get up here and talk about the plight of Black women when you literally just sat here and lied in our faces about someone who said the N-word? Miss me with that. It's giving me Monique vibes. Monique from Netflix vibes. It's giving me Nene from Bravo vibes. What I mean by that is there are people who will benefit from and or ignore the plight of the Black woman, racism, all of that, until it serves their own agenda and narrative. For example, with Nene, was she right about her allegations when it came to Bravo and NBC being racist and favoritism? Probably. Again, I don't want to get in trouble. So probably, she's not the only person who said it. A lot of people are saying it. There are lots of coming out there. But did she benefit from it and ignore it for years? And the only time she had an issue with it was when she was no longer able to benefit from it. When she benefited from the favoritism, and she was making the millions and she was booking stuff, she didn't have a problem with Andy. She didn't have a problem for Bravo. She wasn't like, oh, this is a hostile racist environment. She was just like, I don't care what you're doing to the other Black people. Right now, I'm the Black person that's in favor. When she fell out of favor, then she wanted to sue them. And I don't think she got any money because she didn't. Let's be real. She did not get any money. Then she had a problem. And Monique, the comedian, Monique did settle with Netflix, but for a different reason. The issue with Netflix, I think, was pay disparity and gender bias, right? Because the pay disparity and gender bias with other types of comedians with certain same types of credentials making more money than her. So that, to me, that's why Netflix settled, because it was around gender bias and pay disparity, which I think is much easier to prove. And so she settled, of course, just to get a Netflix special. But to me, Monique she's a very intelligent woman. She's a great speaker. And she'll throw in these names of all these amazing, talented Black women who've had really hard struggles. And only after they die or only after something happens do we give them their flowers and all of this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And the truth is no, Monique. Is it true that there's the strong Black woman stereotype? Is it true that a lot of Black women don't get their due when they should get it 100%? But is it also true, Monique, that you're just kind of an asshole sometimes and that you're actually just really difficult to work with? And you were up there on stage telling Oprah and Lee Daniels and all these people to go down, doing all this crazy stuff. And your husband that you call daddy is your manager and he was being unprofessional and messing things up. Did you then also get on here and reprimand Black women for wearing bonnets to the airport because we just want to be comfortable, and you had the audacity to get up there and try and talk down on us? But yet you wanted to be the face of uplifting and empowering Black women? Miss me with that. Miss me with it. Because a lot of people will do their own dirt. A lot of people will get away with stuff. A lot of people will benefit from stuff. And then the moment they no longer benefit from it, They want to talk about their gender and their race, this, that, and the third. And then in order to give credibility to what they're saying, they will conflate when it's really true. When a woman really is being messed over because she's Black. When a woman really is being messed over because she's a woman. You know, when somebody really is being skipped over because of their sexuality or their nationality or their orientation or their identity, because that is really real. That is really real. That is what pisses me off. Because then you take away from the validity and the power of when a person has the courage and the bravery to say, you know, I'm being victimized because of my gender, because of my race, because of my sexuality, because of my religion. Like Monique, miss me. Nene, miss me. Brooks, miss me. Miss me with it. Your plight has no credibility. All right, I went on a tangent. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. I went on a whole tangent. Hey, SW, right, agree. You should send that speech to his friend since he tweets everything for him, LOL. Exactly. And that's another thing. These celebrities who are always like, it wasn't me, it was my social media manager. Okay. Hey, Ashley, Caroline also said Sergio is the least racist person she knows. Like, ma'am, go sit down somewhere. Exactly. They're the least racist person. Hey, Lynn, I wanted to like Brooks, but she is such a two-faced, going from one camp to another, telling each other's business is very telling. Exactly. She could have played the middle person perfectly, but she failed. Exactly. You can be friends with both people without being two-faced and messy. Hey, Ashley, the fact that he didn't apologize publicly also shows his immaturity. It also shows his privilege. He thinks he can do something and say something, and he doesn't have to publicly apologize. Is he actually sorry? Does he actually think he did anything wrong? We're just supposed to take the word of Caroline and Brooks that he actually was even apologetic. What I think, this is the thing. What I think, and I'm going to even say Brooks on this one, given how she moves. What I think they reprimanded Sergio about was not using the N-word. And I'm including Brooks in this one. I think what they actually reprimanded Sergio about is what Caroline said. Not cleaning and scrubbing his social accounts enough. She said it. She's like, oh, he went and scrubbed, but he didn't go far back enough. So there was more. There was more. What did he scrub? What did he scrub? What didn't we see? If that's the tweet, if the tweet that actually had the full N-word in it was the one that they skipped, what were the ones that they deleted? What was the ones that they found? That's what they reprimanded him over, was not doing his due diligence and getting rid of offensive tweets and offensive posts that he probably has had out there. Because clearly they did. She already said it. I was mad at him that he knew he was going on a show on the platform and he didn't scrub far back enough. So what actually got scrubbed? If the tweet with the N-word got overlooked, if that wasn't a tweet that caught everybody's attention, then what did catch the attention? You see what I'm saying? That's what they reprimanded him about. Not using the word, but getting caught using the word. That's what they were pissed about. And I'm adding Brooks into that because if you actually had a problem with him using the N-word, you would have let Caroline Stanberry defend her man, and you wouldn't have been up there lying in our faces and putting schemes together and windmilling for a man that isn't even your man. Hey, Kimmy, load, not the cease and desist. These people trying to take away the First Amendment, shake my head. I know, right? I'm trying to say alleged rumor all the time. Like, we stand with you, Sherelle. We stand with you, Dana Wilkie. Hey, Steve C, 100% it was because he felt he was sloppy, not really what about he said. Exactly. She told on herself. She said it. She said, I was really mad because he didn't scrub far back enough. She was like, I know he scrubbed, but he didn't go far back enough because the tweet was from like 2017 or something like that. Yeah. Just this is the thing. If you're not a racist, there's nothing to scrub. So what were you scrubbing? What were you scrubbing? You know what I mean? Hey, Mario, I didn't catch those nuances when I watched, but now I'm side-eyeing everything that Stanberry said about the tweet. Welcome to the candy cane community, baby. This is where you go. I don't do scene by scene. I don't do what they wore. I shout out to all the content creators who do it. I do what actually happened, what was said, and sometimes more importantly, what wasn't said. Like, I really like to do these reality shows from almost like again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, but I like to play one on YouTube, right? I like to do it from the perspective of like the human experience, right? Like, I was the first one that was like, Chanel has all this trauma. And then 2 episodes later, she's talking about all her trauma. I was like, see? So I like to do it from like the human experience. And I like to really think about why they do the things they do and really see the undercurrent of it, right? Let's see. Hey, SW, does that mean she went far enough on her own stuff then? Bloop. Well, don't forget, Caroline Stanberry has been on reality TV for years. She was on Ladies of London for like 3 or 4 seasons, so she gets it. Like, she gets it. I think that she probably has highly curated her stuff, and she's probably scrubbed it already. And that's why I bet you she was the one who told Sergio to scrub. And she's pissed because he didn't go far back enough. That, because I was waiting for that tweet to come out and to see what it said. And I was waiting for her response. And the first thing she said was, I was really mad at him because you know you're going on a show and a platform. You need to scrub your social media. That's what she said she was pissed about. And then later on, she said, Sergio's the least racist person. Says the like, you know what I mean? Like, come on now, come on. She was like, who's my black friend? Brooks. She called Brooks and was like, what can we do for damage control? What can we do so we don't get canceled? Let's make up this scheme. You're not going to sit here and play in my face that Sergio didn't know what the N-word was. You're not going to sit here and play in my face that Sarah did some IP address investigation online. Sarah, shut up. Brooks got this. Like, come on now. Come on. Hey, Steve C. They fabricate so much that you really have to look past the surface to understand what is going on. Exactly. Exactly. Like, even with like the Lisa Milan and the Chanel stuff, it's so clear that they are in a codependent relationship. Lisa Milan is the alpha. Chanel is the beta. And Chanel came out there windmilling against Stanberry, windmilling against Brooks. Sure, she may have her own beef with them, but she was going after Stanberry in particular. And you saw Lisa sitting there smiling and being all happy, being like, good, you know what I mean? Like, go get her, all that stuff, and like laughing and stuff. They were so annoying. They're like, and like laugh. It was just like, you guys are grown women. Like, what the hell is going on? And it's so sad because I was never a fan of Chanel. And this is the thing. I don't dislike Chanel at all. I don't even think she's a bad person. I don't think she's malicious. I think she has a lot of problems and a lot of weird stuff going on. I do think there was a pact, 100%. And the sad part is, I really, really used to like Lisa. Like, she was actually my favorite one, just until everything started to unfold. You know what I mean? Now I have to say my favorite one probably, don't laugh at me, but I think my favorite one is Sarah at this point. I think Sarah is my favorite one. Caroline Stanberry, I think, is really sad. I don't think she's happy with Sergio. I don't think she wanted to get married. She definitely did not want to do IVF. I think that he probably pressured her into a lot of stuff. I think Sergio caught Caroline Stanberry at a very vulnerable time. She even said it. She said that she was going through a midlife crisis and she had a divorce. I think Sergio, I mean, not to quote Mother Joyce, but I think Sergio's an opportunist. I think Sergio's an opportunist. I think he wants to be on TV. I think he wants to be famous. I think he wants to be rich. I think he wants to be her. And I think Caroline Stanberry just kept digging herself deeper and deeper and deeper to a point where her ego would not let her say, I messed up and I need to get out of this. I don't think she's in love with Sergio. I think she's stuck and I think she's deeply unhappy. She looks really sad and she looks really unhappy. She does not look like a woman who's content and who's happy. Do you know what I mean? I don't think she's happy. So that's Caroline. We've been on here, you guys, for over an hour. So smash that like button and subscribe and share with a friend. I'm gonna go through all the women and then we'll wrap it up. So that's Caroline, right? Caroline to me is sad storyline. And I don't like the storyline that a woman or a man has to do anything to their bodies in order to keep someone. You don't have to have a child in order to keep a man. You know, you don't need to have a child in order to keep a woman, you know, or do things to your body. It's messed up. Him making her do IVF is just as bad as him making her get a boob job, or him making her get liposuction, or him making her, I don't know, anything. You know what I'm saying? Getting a BBL. You know what I mean? Anytime someone, man or woman, forces somebody to do something to their body that they do not want to do is abuse. Is it coercive? It's coercive abuse, and it's control. And the fact that he never gives her any privacy, he shows up all the time, is very codependent. It's very unhealthy. There are no boundaries. It's like they're morphing into the same person. There's no boundaries there. That is a very codependent, very unhealthy relationship. I don't think she's happy at all. I don't buy it. Caroline, you can sit up there and lie all you want. You're miserable. You're not happy. You're not a happy person. Brooks, Miss Flip-Flopper of the Year. I actually really liked you, Brooks. Lies and all. Lies, timelines, X's and O's, cheating. I liked you. Until you got up there and you literally played in my face talking about Sergio didn't know what the N-word was. And then you have the audacity to next week, watch, next week, Brooks is going to be talking about strong Black women and we don't get to cry and white women get to be fragile and vulnerable. But yet you sat up here and played in my face about this man saying the N-word? Shut up, Brooks. Nina. I don't even think we talked about Nina all day long. Nina, to me, honestly, Nina can stay or go. I'm kind of indifferent to Nina. I like her. I don't dislike her. I like her, but I'm indifferent to Nina. Like, she doesn't give me anything either way, if that makes sense. She's kind of there. She's nice enough. That's kind of it. Chanel. This might sound double-minded, but I want to see Chanel's healing journey. I want to see her continue to go to therapy. I want to see her continue to heal. But I also, and I don't mean to be cold, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I also need Chanel to have any other thing to talk about other than her trauma. I need something else. Chanel, I don't want to hear about your trauma anymore. I don't want to hear about your childhood anymore. I don't want to hear about how you are the most beautiful, amazing, period, dot person in the world. Next, what else is new? What else do we have to talk about? I do want to see your healing journey, though. So I don't want, I know that might sound double-minded, but I don't think it is. Like, I do want to hear about her healing journey because I do care about her. I do care about what she's went through. And I do think it would really help people to watch someone who has gone through trauma and seek help and see what that journey looks like. I think that's really interesting, and I would love to see that. But I also need like to stop. Like enough. We got it. I need you to stop crying every 5 minutes. I'm over it. Cut the tears. Cut them. I need you to stop windmilling for Lisa. Have your own brain. What did Chanel? I want to know what makes you tick. What do you like, Chanel? What don't you like? Who are you? What's your point of view on a situation? Because the only thing I hear from you, Chanel, is trauma, 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 cry, cry, cry. Whatever Lisa says, whatever Lisa says, whatever Lisa says, whatever Lisa says. So, Chanel, I need you to actually become your own woman this season. I want to see your healing journey, but I need you to stop with the other BS. I'm over it. Let it go. Lisa. I love your husband. Your husband is fine. Okay. But Lisa, I need you to, if you're going to be a mean girl, I need you to be a lovable mean girl. Like, you played the hell out of Chanel, and she's clearly your puppet. And I need you to bring something else to the table, Lisa, other than being beautiful and your fine ass husband and your gorgeous kids. I don't know what it is, Lisa. I don't know what it is. I really liked you in the beginning, but now I'm just like, you just give mean girl vibes. You just give very bitter Betty vibes. Like, you seem really bitter right now. Like, you seem like you have like a chip on your shoulder. Like, you're pissed at something. You're bitter about something. And you just show up every time with like this attitude. And it's like, Lisa, I want to see more of your personality. I want you to talk about, you have to address some of the rumors. I don't care about your name. I don't care about people you have or have not slept with. I don't care about any of that stuff. The only thing I want you to address when it comes to the rumors is the designs. You need to address whether or not your company was stealing designs, because the difference between buying someone's designs and stealing them, there are two different things, right? You need to address that, and then just come with a better attitude. That's what it is. Lisa, you're kind of like a sourpuss. You're kind of bitter, and you're kind of a sourpuss. You're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're very intelligent, and you're very confident. And I love all of those qualities about you. That's actually why you were my favorite at first. Yes, you're beautiful, but my favorite was because you're very confident. You know who you are, and you're very self-assured. And I thought those were extremely attractive qualities, particularly in a woman. You know, just knowing who you are and being confident. You don't windmill for anybody. You didn't windmill for Chanel. You threw her ass all the way under the bus. You sat there and you said, I am the only woman on this stage with a viable business. And you didn't say it once. You said it like 2 or 3 times. You said, I am the only woman on this stage. You told your friend exactly how you felt about her, basically. But I need the chip to be gone off your shoulder. I need the bitterness gone. I need that gone. I need something else. Sarah, I like Sarah. I know some people don't like Sarah. I like Sarah. Again, I don't care about any type of plastic surgery rumors. I don't care about any work she got done. Who cares? Who gives a flying F? It's 2022. People literally are changing their entire bodies all day long. Like, next, snooze button. What else you got? But I do want to see Sarah. I want to see Sarah like dating. I want to see Sarah more her life, you know? I like her personality. I don't think she's preachy. I don't think she's judgy. I think she's a type of person who probably went through some stuff and got some therapy, and everybody does that. They become like these like mini like life coaches. I think it's like that. I really like Sarah. Yeah, that's kind of what I think of the cast. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Here we go. Hey, SW. They even said that she called Brooks hysterical, and Brooks took the bait. Shake my head. Exactly. Hey, Mario. I 100% think Stanbury got married for the storyline. I think she got married for the storyline. I think she got married because Sergio pressured her into it because he wanted some money and he wanted to be her. I don't think she got married because she actually wanted to get married. Hey, Sunny, I like Chanel and Lisa. When Lisa is not around by herself, she has character. That's what I'm saying. It's like I want to see who Chanel is as Chanel. You know what I mean? Hey, Darren Hood, I'm beginning to like Sarah and Nina. Me too. Me too. Me too. Kimmy's laughing at Sergio. Hey, Sunny. Yeah, like their girl trip. What man show up like that? Ugh, annoying. That to me was creepy as hell. It was creepy and it was psycho. And it's a red flag. If I'm out with all of my girls and one of their men shows up, we would all be like, yo, what the hell? Like, you got to get out. Like, blink twice if you need us to call 911. You know what I mean? Like, that's some cuckoo for Cocoa Puff behavior. Hey, Mario, did you talk about the stupid Book of Lies prop? I like that Andy didn't even bother with opening it. He was like, oh, that's nice, and put it on the side. I bet he probably opens it probably in part 2. Probably in reunion part 2. Hey, SW, maybe because she knew about the book Caroline S. did, so she is defensive about that. Who, Lisa? Lisa didn't know about the book Caroline S. did. Did you see her face? And the entire season, Lisa and Caroline have been beefing. They've been beefing the entire season. But the beef between Lisa and Caroline, to me, I think that they beef for two reasons. One, they beef because I believe that there really was a pact for all of the girls to get together and to get Caroline Stanbury out. I believe that. I think there really was a pact. So I think that was a beef. And then I think when Caroline said to Lisa at that event, when she was talking to Sergio, oh, why are you over there with them? Oh, and is she going to S your D tonight? I think that started the beef. And then also when Caroline Stanbury didn't go to Lisa's fashion show, I think that started the beef too. And they've been beefing ever since then, 100%. And Lisa even said it. She was like, before the problem was between Caroline and Chanel, but now she has a problem with me. And ever since then, they have had a problem. And trust me, I'm not defending Caroline Stanbury when I say this. I'm holding them both accountable. I see Lisa's petty and I see Caroline's petty. I think they both have been very petty. And I think they both have done wrong. So when I hold Lisa accountable, that doesn't mean that I'm giving Caroline a pass. And when I hold Caroline accountable, that doesn't mean I'm giving Lisa a pass. I'm just saying they all have been shady and they all have been messy and they all have been petty. And it seems like they all have been lying too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mario. It is Lisa and Caroline vying for Queen Bee. Exactly. And all the others are just mean girls and sidekicks. Exactly. I really think it was Lisa wanted to be the HBIC. She wanted to be the Queen Bee. And then by all means necessary, she wanted to get Caroline out because she knew that she could control Chanel because Chanel is a pygmy when it comes to Lisa. And she didn't feel threatened by the other women. We saw that on stage today. I am the only woman. She made it very clear. I'm not in this league with you chicks. I'm above you. You're beneath me. She made that very, very clear. So I don't think she felt threatened by the other women. I think she thought she wanted to be on the show and she was going to be the Queen Bee and she wanted to get Caroline Stanbury out of the way so she could get that role. That's what I think happened. Because don't forget, Real Housewives of Dubai was actually supposed to be anchored by Caroline Stanbury. She was supposed to be the Teresa, the Nene, the LVP. You know what I mean? She was supposed to be the anchor of the show because she had already been on Ladies of London on Bravo for years. And so when she moved to Dubai, all of this stuff. So Caroline Stanbury was supposed to be the anchor. As we all know, that's not really how it shook out with, Brooks's drama, Chanel being a breakout star, Lisa, blah, 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 blah. But I really do think that the tables are going to turn next season. I'm excited for next season because I think that the claws are going to come out even more. I think that Nina's going to stop holding back. I think Sarah's going to stop holding back. I think that the friendship between Lisa and Chanel will be tested. I think more of Brooks' lies will be exposed. Caroline Stanbury, if you're going to come back, you need to come back with something. Be more interesting, Caroline, because right now you're kind of boring, to be honest, Caroline. What makes you interesting is your psycho husband, and I don't want to see Sergio anymore. I don't want to see Sergio I don't want to see him. If I do see him, I only want to see him at couples events where the other husbands are there. If the other men are not there, Sergio should not be there. And I'm looking at you, production, because I don't know why you allow this BS. I want to see Caroline Stanbury come back into her own because I loved her on Ladies of London. She was a force. She was the one. She was the chick. If you've ever watched Ladies of London, Caroline Stanbury was the one. She was the Queen Bee. They all bowed down to Caroline Stanbury. That's why I'm saying now I think she's depressed. And I think she's really unhappy. She's a very different person now. Very, very different. I'm not buying the whole I'm so in love with Sergio BS. No. You were at a vulnerable time in your life. You know what I mean? You became a woman of not even a woman of a particular age. I think you got into your 40s. You were divorced. And like she said, she was going through a crisis. And that's when Sergio came in. And a lot of con artists will prey on people when they're at when they are at their weakest moment, when they are going through a divorce, when something financial is happening, when they have a milestone birthday and maybe they're like, wait a minute, I just turned 30, 40, whatever, 50, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? All the BS society tells women that somehow as we age, we devalue. When that's bullshit. As we age, we appreciate, okay? We're like wine. The older we get, the better we get. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate with age. But sometimes, unfortunately, society makes us believe that we depreciate with age, and that's some bullshit right there. I think he saw an opportunity, and he took it. And I feel bad for Caroline Stanbury. I hold her accountable when she's messy. I hold her accountable when she is shady. But on a woman-to-woman level, I do not think she's happy. I think she's low-key depressed. And I think that Sergio is really an opportunist, and he is just almost like a parasite, taking everything he can. And she has this front on, and at this point, her ego will not allow her to get out of the situation. I'm not buying the happy families. I'm not buying the BS. I don't buy it. It's not genuine. It's not authentic. I don't buy it. I don't. Let's see what you guys are saying. Sunny says, I believe there was a pact too. Yup. And Lisa's husband is handsome and Nina's husband is mature, sexy, LOL. Okay, good show. Gotta go. Yes, I know. I gotta go to you guys. I agree. Lisa's husband is fine. He's fine. And I love how much Nina's husband is so mature and grounded. Like, you know, he just like has her. That is so beautiful. You just know he has her back. Hey, SW, Nene and them earned it, so you can't just give that to Caroline S. Bravo. Yeah. Well, I think Caroline earned it from Ladies of London, because she killed it on Ladies of London. She was the anchor of Ladies of London. She was the HBIC 100%. You go back and watch Ladies of London, Caroline Stanbury ran that show. That's why Bravo thought she would run Dubai. But she was at two very different places in her life. One, in Ladies of London, she was in England, where she grew up, where she had the family money, the heritage. She was around women she knew her entire life. She had her sister-in-law on the show. She was married at that time. She had all this, you know what I mean? She was in a different position on Ladies of London. Hey, Mario, I've never even heard of Ladies of London. Yeah, I watched Ladies of London. I watched every single season of Ladies of London. Caroline Stanbury was the chick. She was the one. Let me tell you, she was the one. She was the HBIC on Ladies of London, 100%. Very different than her demeanor now. Very, very different. On Real Housewives of Dubai, I think something's going on. She's not the same person. She's not the same. When you, at her engagement party, the two women at the table with her, Julie and what was the other one's name? Sophie. They were on Ladies of London with her. Julie was her best friend on the show, castmate, and Sophie is Caroline Stanbury's sister-in-law. Sophie was married to Caroline's brother. So those were the two girls. Those were the two women who were saying, like, are you sure she can carry it, Sergio? And they're like, are you sure that's healthy for you, darling? And she was like, you had a real hard time with the twins and all this stuff. Those were the only two people who were really like, Sergio, do you know what you're talking about, sweetheart? Like she almost died with the twins and all this other stuff. They were on the show with her. Hey, Steve, Ladies of London was great, and yes, correct. She's totally different here. Exactly. She's completely different. If Caroline Stanbury from Ladies of London was the same person who showed up on Real Housewives of Dubai, it would be a different show. I'm telling you right now, it would be a different show if the personality of Caroline Stanbury that was on Ladies of London was the same personality and energy of the Caroline and Real Housewives of Dubai. It would be a different show. It would be a different show, 100%. That's why Lisa wanted the pact, because they thought she was going to come in like that, and she didn't even. And honestly, I think that's why Nina and Sarah probably got out of the pact, because they realized Stanbury wasn't as scary anymore because she was depressed or something like that. I don't know. But you guys, we've been on here for an hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to go get some food and then go work out. I love you, my beautiful candy canes. So be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. I will be doing more recaps. There's more Beverly Hills. There's more Dubai. We'll be doing Potomac. We'll be doing Huntsville. And anything else, let me know. Put it down there. Maybe some hot topics if I have the time. But I love you guys so much. And don't forget to share. Share this video. Anybody that you know, any groups that you are in that like Bravo, reality TV, pop culture, be sure to share. Share the link. Share my channel. And I love you, my beautiful candy canes. Have a beautiful, safe, and blessed long weekend. Be safe, you guys. It's a holiday weekend. It's a long weekend. It's the end of summer. Enjoy yourself, but be safe. I love you. Bye.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go.